Welcome, everybody, to Watkins Glen International, just on the southern tip of Seneca Lake. We find ourselves here in upstate New York with 5 races to go in the chase for the IndyCar World Championship. This is the AT&T Champ Car World Series. Coverage here on ABN Sports all season long. It all comes down to this, with the championship rounds upon us. 5 races to go. Watkins Glen, Nazareth, Denver, Night City, Fontana. The gateway to championship ambitions. Sakura Ishibashi for the 9th time this season will start from the front of the field, but the question is everyone around Ishibashi. Ishibashi top 5 in the points, but it's all about currently the conversation between Nicole Lechty, who will start alongside her on the front row, and Kuni Kinoshita, the 18 car, the defending world champion, starting just behind Lechty in row number 2. Lechty in the orange and white machine, Kinoshita right behind in that black, red, and white Fujitsu car. 30 cars here at Watkins Glen. It's going to be a very intense race, a track that a lot of drivers are familiar with in one way, shape, or form. This is a track, remember, that Lechty's won twice. Ishibashi has never won here. That's very important to really indicate here going into this race. The front of the field is going to really be a huge telltale sign of how this race is going to go. But again, 30 cars. We'll go through the starting grid here. Obviously, talk about Sakura Ishibashi, 9th pole position in 2023. Alongside will be Nicole Lechty. Alicia Kovalkiewicz qualified P3, won last time out a week ago in Portland. The defending world champion Kuni Kinoshita alongside in row number 2. The third cat double racing machine, Mia Valdez, in row number 3 alongside Natalia Kurachenko, who has a really good qualifying position as well in the 84 car. We know Kurachenko is running out of time in the World Series. We'll move down to the Challenger Series in 2024. Trying to end the season on a high note so far. That's been a pretty decent run. Top 10 last week. Can that continue here tonight? Thomas Rogers and Artyom Kozlov, Panasonic Team Impulse, all together in row 4. Simona Leroux, the second Red Bull Highlight Racing machine, will be in row number 5 alongside Evangeline Porter. Natalia Velicevic and Wyatt Jones, they make up the top 12, just there in row 6. Wyatt Jones, first career podium in Portland a week ago. Starting top 12 here once again, Andrew Draco for Dragon Motorsports in row 7 alongside the 86 of Asada Quito for Obsidian Racing Team. The third Panasonic Team Impulse car, BK Glover, sits in row 8 alongside Keisha Fox. Keisha Fox missed out on the top 10 just barely last time out of Portland. Glover finished in the top 6. Cameron Jackson in row 9 alongside his teammate Esther Hofston. They make up the top 18. The top 20 is Astor Crane, who had a terrible end to the race of Portland after fighting to get to the top 10. Crane on row 10 alongside the rookie and 2-time Atlantic champion Bianca Lucero. Elise Alexander and Matthias Michelin for Striker Motorsports in row number 11. Striker Motorsports having that row locked out. Shinichi Kamaya in row 12 alongside Marcus Petrovic. Row 13 is Katrina Ochoa and Rex Riley. Yuya Ishii and Maria Damata in row 14, the last row of the grid. We once again get to see Sakura Kunikita and Anastasia Sponsonen to make up the 30-car field here tonight. Again, 30 cars here at Watkins Glen to get things started. The championship, the gap has really narrowed in here. 17 points is the gap between Kinoshita and Lechty going into this race. This could be a very close title fight in the last 5 races. We've seen several very close title fights in Champ Car history. Obviously, you're thinking about 2018, a 3-way battle there for the championship. Obviously, Cristina Espinoza ended up winning that championship fight. Thinking about 2017, how that was a 3-way tie. Ended up being in favor of Andrew Draco. He's in the field tonight.
Start your engines!
As you hear the command the fire engines there in the distance, it's time to go wild. But the championship fights in Champ Car have been close historically. year in, year out. In trouble already for Artyom Kozlov. On the initial go, Artyom Kozlov with a mechanical failure. Just getting that car fired up. That changes some things. Kozlov qualified top 10, qualified 8th. And that's a long way to pit lane. So Kozlov, the Rookie of the Year campaign for the Indy 500 champion, not turning out to be. Really had a good job in qualifying yesterday. Out-qualified Velicevic, her main rival in the Rookie of the Year competition. But Kozlov, they will not make it back here. Unfortunately for Artyom Kozlov, they will fall out and will be, what all indication is saying, going to be the first retirement of this race. The Russian ace. How disappointing. How gutting. How gut-wrenching can it be? And you tell everyone's falling back a little bit just to avoid any of the smoke, any of the debris that may come from that 3 car. Seems to be that it would be a engine failure with how far back everyone's standing to give Kozlov that space. Just absolutely gut-wrenching. Kozlov entered this race 6th in points, about 23 points clear, I believe, of Ishibashi, who has moved into the top 7. No, excuse me, Kovalkiewicz in the top 7. Ishibashi's already ahead of her in points. After Ishibashi had a horrible start to the season, obviously pole positions after pole position after pole position. The first 7 races, Ishibashi had 4 pole positions, but didn't really have any results until after Indianapolis. And Kozlov going to try to squeak in here. As the field's closing up here, she is stuck in the middle. Simona Leroux, that Red Bull Highlight Racing machine, does have to give her the right of way there so she can get to pit lane. This is in an enviable position to be in. She will get her way through here. Checks up the back row there. Everyone will get caught back up. Ishibashi and Lechty bring us to green. And we're underway in Watkins Glen. Already chaos in the opening lap. Easy and straightforward turn 1 there for Ishibashi, who gets the race lead from Lechty. But it is Bedlam behind. Kenosha, Draco side by side, up the S's. This is the full 3.37 mile full course here at Watkins Glen, side by side, 3 wide. Further behind, Jackson, Wyatt Jones, and Asada Quito. Jones trying to force his way through the podium center last time out. at Portland, still 3 wide. Down the hill. Into the boot. Still 3 wide. Quito trying to make moves. There's Kenosha who's struggling. Big time struggles for Kenosha. Held up Jones just a little bit. Kenosha spent a lot of time behind Kozlov on that formation lap. Did that do damage? Quito and Jackson still battling it out here at the moment. Coming out back onto the combined course here. Quito will get clear of Jackson. One car out, Kozlov with an engine failure. This is a battle just outside the top 10. There's Astor Crane, the 80. '62 of Keisha Fox. Then there's Lucero. There is Alexander. Saw the 21 of Petrovic. There's the 8 of Kamaya. They have Michelin, Hobson, Ochoa, Riley, Damata. Kenosha's dropped all the way back into the bottom 5, sitting right now in the 26th position. Right now battling with Von Sonnen. There's Yu Ishii, who's qualified for another race after failing to make the last 8, as well as Sakura Kunikita at the back of the field. Front of the field is still Sakura Ishibashi ahead of Nicole Lechty. Then it's Kovalkiewicz, Valdez, and Thomas Rogers. And right now, Kenosha struggling. Really breathes life into the championship. Lechty would take over the championship lead. Mind you, Lechty's already held the championship lead once. It was the opening round of the season when she won at Phillip Island. So early days here, lap 3 here in New York. Ishibashi clear and running away here up the hill. Seems untouchable at the moment, but we saw that at Portland too. Top 5 isolated away from the 13 of Natalia Felicevich. She's gotten clear of Simona Leroux. Natalia Kurachenko in the top 10 as well. Kurachenko in the 8th position. Then it's Draco and Glover top 10. Porter 11th, 12th Quito, 13th Jackson, 14th Wyatt Jones. So Jones has lost 2 spots there in the opening shuffle. One thing you'll notice is out there running the Redwall Firestone Firehawk tires. They wear quicker at this racetrack. This track was recently repaved back in 2017. It's aged a little bit. It's gotten a little bit rougher. It's gotten a little bit bumpier. But still going to be very taxing on these Redwall tires. Alexander going up the hill behind the 80 of Astor Crane. And Kenosha's fallen off big time. Kenosha now behind Ishii and really struggling in that 18 car. There's something really amiss in that 18 car. Kenosha down in 29th position right now. Looking again at this battle for second place. Ishibashi up ahead. Well and truly clear of this battle. In fact, there you see going up the hill, there's Ishibashi in that DHL number 17, and then the rest of the group. Down the long straightaway into the inner loop. The bus stop, complex of many names, has caught many drivers out over the years. Everyone tiptoeing through here. Through the carousel now into the boot. Into the heel. See all the trees and the greenery around this racetrack there as they make their way around. This is the heel of the boot. Now up this hill. Kovalkiewicz right on the gearbox there of Zlecki. Peeks the outside a little bit there, drifted a little bit wide, gives Valdez a chance. Going into the final couple corners, Valdez has to slot back in line. Everything in play at the moment. Down the hill, across our finish line to start lap number 5. And Ishibashi setting sail and clear at the moment. 3.6 seconds clear. Ishibashi showing to be untouchable at the moment. Zlecki mirror driving completely right now. Zlecki just trying to stay in second place, knowing right now that Kenosha is having an abysmal run of form. Really is continuing on that conversation from Portland a week ago. This is a title fight we didn't get to see in all its entirety last season with the pandemic shutting everything down. We didn't get to see Kenosha versus Zlecki in the championship stretch. And it's very interesting, the drivers that seem the most unstoppable, the drivers that right now have spent most of the season being nowhere. You know, we talked about Ishibashi up until Toronto was winless. Went and won 2 races back-to-back in Toronto. Got a good top 5 finish last week at Portland. And over the last month and a half has really put together a fight to climb back into this conversation. Same with Kovalkiewicz, who missed the first couple races. Reminder that Kovalkiewicz re-aggravated injuries that she sustained at the Lausitz Ring back in 2020. Re-aggravated his injuries in a civilian road crash. Missed Phillip Island. Missed Motegi. Missed Mexico City. Missed the first 3 rounds. But has come in by storm. Won Chicagoland. Won Portland last week. To now be top 7 in the points despite being 3 races behind. That's a huge ordeal. And right now Kovalkiewicz really applying the pressure to, if things ended as they stood, the championship leader, Nicole Zlecki. Kenosha entered with a 17-point gap. Right now Kenosha scores 5 points, being 29th. Zlecki scores 40. That's a huge swing. That's a 35-point swing. Zlecki goes from being 17 points behind to 18 points in front. It flips just like that. Obviously a lot of racing to go here. Obviously we're only finishing lap 6 of 60. We're only a 10th of the way through this race. But those are conversations you have to start having because Kenosha is nowhere to be seen. Still in the boot at this point, getting back onto the main course behind Ishii by a significant amount there. Kunikita's moved up to 27th. Bonsonen 26th, 25th, Damata, then Riley in 24th. Working our way up through the gears here. Shinichi Kamaya, the 8 car center of your screen. Adam Mateus Michelin in 20th. Then there is the 21 of Marcus Petrovich, who had a terrible time out at Portland, looking for a little bit better this time. At least Alexander in the FedEx, number 11. Alongside the 88 of Bianca Lucero. Wyatt Jones there just behind Cameron Jackson, struggling to get around the former Grand Prix world champion. Now team leader there for Dragon Motorsports. That is for 13th place, 12th, Asada Quito. A free agent coming up here in 2024. Where does he land? He's out trying to impress. Porter in 11th, Glover in the top 10. Just behind two-time world champion Andrew Draco. Then you have Kurachenko, then there's Leroux. And again, it's everyone right now currently behind second place Nicole Lechty. With a lot of work to do. This could be very much a strategy call. Drivers struggling a lot more here. Obviously, didn't come here in 2022. It was on the schedule. We just didn't get a chance to come and visit. So it's been 2 years since we've been to Watkins Glen. Some drivers have been here, some drivers haven't. For Kovacevic, it's been 3 years since she's been to Watkins Glen. For Valdez behind her, it's been a decade. Obviously, Lechty, last time she was here, did well. Won that race. It was her last win with Black Rose Racing. Ishibashi's never won here in New York, but currently has a wild gap, 5.6 seconds, just has blistering pace right now. Main championship standings, bottom of your screen. Kenosha entered with 449 and is now sitting in danger of losing the championship lead to Nicole Lechty, who's center of your screen. Ishibashi, 39 points behind, would also leapfrog Kenosha. That's huge. Kenosha would go from first to third in one race. But this is the championship fight that we didn't get to see last season. It was ended pretty early, and Kenosha had pretty well dominated the first half of the season, kind of like what she did this season. And we're seeing how the tide have turned. In these last 5 races, anything can happen. And that's what we have right now. Lap 10 underway here in Watkins Glen. Sakura Ishibashi leads over this driver right here, Nicole Lechty, then Alicia Kovalkiewicz. And we have Valdez, the top three here in this fight, beginning to separate themselves from Thomas Rogers, who sits in the 5th position. Remember, he's still in the title fight as well. We talked about Lechty and Ishibashi and Kenosha, who's 29th right now. Rogers had a bad race last time out of Portland a week ago, but has the ability to make all that ground right back up and be right into this title fight. And that's very vital information there for Rogers. He's got to have his head on a swivel right now, because Vlicevic, who's right behind him as well, also in that range to be a threat for a championship. Rogers, who has been a thorn in everyone's side, despite not winning a race this season. His teammate Kozlov, the only race winner for Impulse, and what has been a down season for that team as a whole. They're still competing for a championship, and all three of their cars are still top 10 in points as they come to grips with the new Toyota engines that they have. They were the introductory team for the Toyota engines that came in. The development freeze that was put in place for this season really kind of prevented Toyota from making what they wanted to make in terms of adjustments to their engine package. So the teams had to make do. Obviously, they still won at Indianapolis with Artem Kozlov winning in their second attempt, but Kozlov out of this race with an engine failure. We don't see many Toyota engine failures. They don't run at full song like the Honda inline fours do. Honda and Toyota both running inline fours. Honda's a lot more maxed out there than Toyota's, and that's very noticeable. But Honda's had a lot more reliability failures. This is a rare one for Toyota here in New York. Labor Day weekend. We stay on the East Coast another week as we head to Nazareth Speedway in southern Pennsylvania. It is a Congo line behind Nicole Lechty, the entire top 10 and then some, because there's Porter and Quito just behind this group as well. Seems like everyone's struggling. It seems like this compound of the Firestone Firerock tires, the alternate that they brought this year, a little bit more difficult, a little bit more unpredictable. It seems like a lot of times we'd see a lot of drivers make bombastic moves, either in turn one or into the inner loop. We're not seeing that this season. I'm not seeing that today. We saw a little bit of it in Portland. But Portland just overall a way faster lap. A lap you run most of the lap at full song. You're not doing that here at Watkins Glen. It's a different type of demand on the tires. I think everyone's still trying to really feel out this process. There's Quito in 12th. 13th is Cameron Jackson. There's Wyatt Jones in the 14th position. Then it's Asher Crane. Then there's Keisha Fox there in the 62. There's Lisa Alexander, Marcus Petrovich there. Potential move between Michelin and Kamaya. So Michelin trying to make some moves happen there still. They'll stay side by side. Kamaya's gonna have the draft there from Lucero to hold off Michelin, but Michelin trying to make moves. It seems like the draft's still effective. It's just everyone really lingering and suffering still. Kenosha, championship leader, defending world champion, so far behind. Over half a lap behind. Center of your screen, Sakura Ishibashi leads here in Watkins Glen, Ishibashi holding a near 10-second gap. A staggering run of form right now. Lefty. Still trying to defend from Kovalevich. First round pit stop set to be happening imminently. Looking at a 3-stop race as things run. I would not be surprised if they actually pivot and make it a 4-stop race here, with how much they're struggling to put the power down right now. Having to tiptoe. Something definitely amiss that these drivers did not get to really kind of put anything down to. They only had one practice session. Practice was rained out on Friday. They had one practice in the morning. This is the hottest the track's been all weekend. And that means a lot. Here they come. Ishibashi already in. Here it comes. Just about everybody. Without any serious contemplation, everyone comes down pit lane on the exact same lap. So everyone figured it was time to come in. Who was going to be the first one to blink? Everyone blinked simultaneously. Rogers blinked a lap earlier, so did Asada Kito and Asher Crane. So some drivers have come in early, but they have pivoted to a 4-stop strategy here, trying to make magic happen. Ishibashi obviously going to be out of pit lane quickly. Race for second. Be interesting here. There's Rogers. Rogers does leapfrog some cars here. The undercut, as we figured, would be effective, and it is, because Rogers now will be right on the tail of Lechty up the S's here. Can he make a pass happen? He's got the speed. He's got the overcut. Here we go. Lechty, full song though, into the inner loop. Will hold off Rogers momentarily. Rogers will try to make something happen here. Lechty on cold tires. Rogers warmed up a lap. Down into the boot. We'll zoom out wide as they go through the boot here. Rogers with that 1-lap undercut was a huge difference. Kito, Asada Kito's in the top 10 firmly, ahead of Leroux. Then there's Kurachenko, there's Draco, there's Glover, there's Porter, there's Jackson. Wyatt Jones didn't have a great pit stop there. He's behind Fox and Alexander this time. As we browse and peruse through the field, Kenosha on fresh tires. Let's see if they fix that issue. But Ishibashi leads the way. Lechty stays in second, but just. For Thomas Rogers. Again, we'll see what happens with Kenosha, with Crane, with Ishii. We'll see where they all cycle through here. See, especially with Kenosha. It's a really big move. Kito's up to 7th. Thing with Rogers that he was losing touch there with Kovalevich later on in that first run, in that first sequence. You do have to have that worry about if, and it's a huge if you can hold on to those tires enough to stay ahead of Kovalevich, or if he's going to start dropping back. A little bit of a gap between Kovalevich and Valdez. Really does give pause to the fight we're about to witness. Again, Ishibashi leads. It's an 11.2 second gap right now over Lecty. But this battle for second is the fight that is raging on at the moment. 29 cars in this race still. Artyom Kozlov failing to finish after an engine failure on the start. Similar to Esterhazen last week. Only one retirement so far. But away we go. Up the hill this time. Quarter of the way through this race. Ishibashi has the fastest lap so far, a 1:41.026. And she's the only one still in the 141s. Letty in the 142s and really slowing up everyone behind. Lap 17 of 60. Again, we're looking here at Lecty in this battle that's now once again contained Mio Valdez. Asada Quito, he's going to have a fight on his hands here. Trying to stay ahead of this driver here, Simona Leroux. Asada Quito up to the top 10. Same with Ty Kurachenko. Andrew Draco, the fringe of the top 10 and 10th at the moment. Draco right now sitting just ahead of Evangeline Porter at the moment as things currently run. Draco holding up Porter at the moment in that 10th spot. Oh, Porter actually going to make a move for it here. We were going to scroll through the field. We're going to wait for a second. Former teammates, now rivals. Draco once again holding on to the 10th here. Just a way better run there. Out of the heel. Now to the toe of the boot. But Porter trying to make some moves happen as well. Porter and Michelin seem to be really keen on trying to make moves happen. Just not a lot of opportunities to make something happen at the moment. As Rex Riley has moved into the 23rd position. Up a couple spots here already. I had him Damata as well. There is the 76 there of Von Stonen at Michelin. Then there's Kinikita and Ishii. And Kenoshita still 81 seconds behind. Something significantly wrong with Kenoshita's car. That car not a full song because there's her teammate, her stepsister, the potential championship challenger. Ishibashi's now down the 142s. Same with Lecty. First time Lecty's been faster than Ishibashi in all this race. Seems like Lecty's really struggling. Ishibashi last lap, a 142.086. Faster than Lecty by 4/10 that time. So Ishibashi stumbled for a lap. Just opened the gap back up. 13.5. This 5 per second is the closest battle on track at the front of the field. But again, everyone is really struggling there behind Sakura Ishibashi, who has walked away looking for a grand slam if she can do it. And that's easier said than done. It's not easy in the slightest to do. Remember, pit stops happen between lap 12 and lap 14, so you're looking at between lap 24 and 26 for pit stops on the second go around. Seemed like Rogers had a little bit of a run there in the final couple corners, but the way Lecty's going through and taking those last couple corners really checked him up in turn 7 and allowed Lecty to open up a gap once again. But you see Lecty struggling with the grip there, up the S's. Those rear tires gotta be scorching right now. These cars produce a lot of downforce here. There's not only the over the top downforce with the front and rear wings, but they've got Venturi vanes. They got ground effects underneath these cars. Helps keep these cars really plastered down to the ground. Again, Leti leading Rogers and Kovalkiewicz in this battle for second place. This is right now the battle for the podium. Looks like Porter's gotten around Draco for 10th. But to go back and verify that is the case, because Draco slipped up big time. Porter has walked away with 10th. Then it's Glover, then it's Jackson, Fox, Alexander, and Jones. Your top 16. Then there's Petrovic, then there's Lucero, there's Kamaya, there's Ochoa, Crane, and Hobson. Then it's D'Amato, Riley, Von Sonen, Michelin, Kunikita, and then you have Ishii, and then Kinoshita, who is still losing time here. Something significantly wrong there with Kinoshita's car. Huge misfire there for Kinoshita at this time. Ishibashi leading the way. And then you have, there is Leti. Then there's Rogers. Once again, that second place battle here as pit stops get ready to begin again. Remember, Rogers pit earlier too. Expecting pit stops to start here as soon as this lap. Again, Rogers will be the first one. It's going to be an indication that the pit stop window is open. And he's been stuck behind Leti. But his undercut strategy worked big time. Turn into a giant strategy game. That's what this has turned into, because passing's become very difficult. Surprisingly difficult here. Typically we see a lot of passing going on here at Watkins Glen. Passing's been at a premium. Ryder stays out this lap. Staying right there in touch with Leti and with Kovalkiewicz. Again, you have to understood that Rogers will be the first one in. Rogers and Quito, the big two. Again, Ishibashi so far ahead right now, 14.4 seconds ahead. She feels pretty well safe no matter what. It's all about trying to get on the podium. Take advantage of what has turned into an abysmal race for Kinoshita. Kinoshita trying to just hang in there, but it may be curtains for Kinoshita here today. whatever has happened, that car just has not gotten better. It's very clear that that car just is ailing for some reason, and it could be related to Kozlov there. When her engine gave a go, there could have been some parts that came out of that car on that 3 car on the start that hit Kenosha's car. You saw Kenosha trying to hang back. Was that trying to avoid damage and still getting something out of that situation? In comes... That is Kenosha. Kenosha in pit lane, now firmly a lap down. Rogers stayed out. Interestingly enough, so did Akito. Trying to look and peruse through the field to see if anyone has really come down pit lane. It is just Kenosha that came down, and Kenosha is going to be a very unique scenario here. There's Ishibashi. 15 seconds behind is Lechty and company. But the window for this round of pit stops is open. Everyone's staying out once more. Really kind of beginning to push the outer edge of that pit stop window. It's not very interesting. I would have expected that Rogers would have made an undercut move here. I think maybe the concern is that everyone's going to try to cover that undercut. So they're dumbing themselves into this belief that if they stay at the course, then they could just beat them directly on that pit stop window. It's possible. But difficult here. 5 cars in this group, with Velisevich there, the 5th car in the group, sitting 6th right now on track. Pit stops have happened. Some pit stops have occurred. So some drivers have decided to make that decision. Keto staying with it. Leroux, Kurachenko, and Porter now also in that battle. Same with Hobson and Crane and others. So the belief now is that Kenosha, almost 2 laps down at this point, has suffered some sort of suspension issue that they're trying to repair and get through. Ishibashi, center of your screen, coming in the pit lane this time and will lead what we believe will be most of the rest of the field in this time. So the 1 lap undercut once again in effect. Eyes on Quito, Leroux, Porter, and Alexander, as did Mia Valdez stay out? Valdez did stay out. Wow, Valdez going longer. Interesting. Valdez stayed out. Again, keeping an eye here. There's Quito, there's Leroux, there's Kurachenko, there is Porter. Those were the top 4 that came in last time by. Let's see where they cycle through here, because Quito lost a lot on that top 6. Obviously, Valdez going to go for a lap lead and break up the Grand Slam. That's gonna sting a little bit for Ishibashi. Drivers exiting pit lane now as we follow Quito. The 86, where does he come out in this group? Is he any close to the top 6? Answer that question, no, he's not. Because there's Vlisovich all the way through the S's already. Some cars have gone a lap down here. You're looking at Lucero, you're looking at D'Amati, you're looking at Riley. Now I'll stuck a lap down as well. Valdez wants to lead a lap and break up the Grand Slam. What a cruel twist of fate that is. And she'll do so. There's start finish line coming up. Lap led for Valdez. Ishibashi will take the lead over this time, though. A lot of cars stayed out longer, which is interesting. Valdez comes out just ahead of Kovacevic, maybe. It's very interesting how this race has evolved here. This is a fight for, I believe, 9th and 10th at the moment. Obviously waiting for everyone to cycle through their positions at the moment. Ishibashi leads the way. You know, just have to go 2 laps down in this conversation. That is insane to think about. A big separation here as Valdez has been passed by Kovacevic, and now Vlisovich trying to find a way around the 16 of Valdez. So Kovacevic did find a way around Valdez on those quarter tires. Vlisovich did not. Then you have Quito in 7th. Leroux in 8th, 9th and 10th is Kurichenko and Porter. Draco down in 11th. Then Glover and Jackson 12th and 13th here. Everyone frozen in place here. Sakura Nikita there, ahead of Von Sonnen, ahead of Ishii. There's Kenosha, who's already a lap down, about to go 2 down to this driver right here, Sakura Ishibashi, who leads the way. Battle for 5th raging on, though, between Valdez and Vlisovich. We're at the halfway mark, so we're going to step aside for ABN non-stop here at Watkins Glen. Coverage continues here on ABN Sports. Welcome back, everyone. Non-stop coverage continues here on ABN Sports of the Zippo Grand Prix of Watkins Glen, race 16 of 20 in the AT&T Champ Car World Series season. Driver center of your screen, Sakura Ishibashi leads the way by 14.3 seconds. The gap is stabilized from the opening stanza of this race. Nicole Letty, who we've seen most of the nonstop break there, sitting in second ahead of Thomas Rogers, who now has to deal with Alicia Kovalkiewicz there for the last podium position. Mia Valdez falling off a little bit, has pulled away from the 13 of Natalia Bolisevic. 7th place, Asada Quito. 8th place, Simona Leroux. 9th place, Natalia Kurachenko. And 10th place, Evangeline Porter. They have a giant gap back to Andrew Draco, the two-time world champion, in 11th, ahead of VK Glover, ahead of Cameron Jackson in 13th, 14th, Keisha Fox, 15th, Elise Alexander, then 16th, Wyatt Jones. Marcus Petrovic in the 17th position, then it is Sunichi Kamaya and Asher Crane, the top 20. Katrina Ochoa, then the 28 of Esther Hofson, then Bianca Lucero, Mateus Michelin, Maria Damata, Rex Riley, Sakura Kanikita, Anastasia Sponsonen, Yuya Ishii, and then the points leader and defending world champion Kuni Kenosha down in 29th place, firmly a lap down in this conversation. As we browse and peruse through the field, pit stops about to take place here for the 3rd time. There's 2 more pit stops to be made. This will be a 4 pit stop race. Sadakito in the 86 has been the first one to come down pit lane every single stint. He'll be looking to do so again. Undercut has worked out for him so far to get him into the top 10. Maybe a bit of a stretch there for Quito to be able to gain any more time there to get closer to Vulicevic. Quito in that hunt. Battle for the podium still raging on here between Rogers and Kovalkiewicz. Came down the 16 of Valdez, who stayed out longer than anybody else. It didn't pay off at the beginning of this stint, but now Valdez has the pace to catch up to these 3. The issue is passing. As we've seen throughout this race, passing has been harder to do here than in years past. It'll be interesting to hear the drivers' perspectives on this race. Up the hill through the S's now. You can see on your screen is Rogers. Black sitting in 2nd place, has not really been able to gain any inroads here on Ishibashi. Valdez is caught up to this group. Doing a full top 5 run. In comes Rogers and in comes Kovalkiewicz. And Ishibashi, but Letty stayed out. Interesting. Very interesting how Letty stayed out that time. Trying something different. Most of the field looks like they will come in this time, though. We'll see. This group of 3 doesn't. They all stay out. As does Fox. As does Alexander. And Wyatt Jones. So that's very interesting here. And now Ishibashi to deal with traffic. That's huge. Ishibashi in this mix. Letty in this time, as is Valdez. So Letty's going to lead a lap as a result of this as well. That's big. Draco, Glover, and Jackson all out still. And they all come down pit lane, so Ishibashi will re-inherit the race lead. And there's Kenosha leaving pit lane now. Wyatt Jones stayed out still. It's going to be very interesting. There's Rogers ahead of Valdez. Not ahead of Lechty. Valdez did get ahead of Kovalkiewicz, though. A lot of intermingling going on at the moment. Porter got ahead of it. Looks like they got ahead of Keto and Kurachenko. And Alexander, I believe. No, sorry, that's LaRoe. There's Draco still in 11th place. As everyone cycles through here. Some cars still coming out of pit lane. Ishibashi now being held up by Kenosha. He's already a lap down in this race. There's Wyatt Jones, who stayed out. He'll come back in. He'll come down pit lane this time. Here's a battle for second place, beginning to rage on between Lechty and Rogers in the final corner. And Rogers takes second away. That's a huge ordeal. If Rogers gets up to P2 over Lechty. This is a race where the big picture is in play. Rogers 46 points behind Kenosha, would gain 40 of those points. Would be behind Kenosha by 6. Likewise, this takes 5 points away from Lechty. She'll be ahead of Kenosha by 13 points now instead of 18. I have to believe that Ishibashi could be championship leader at the end of this race with how things are going. Ishibashi's got the most laps led, pole position, lap led. She's got all the bonus points. That's huge. That is really huge, actually. In the point standings, just that one position change that Rogers has been working on for most of this race. It'd be Lechty ahead by 3. If things stay as they are right now, Lechty would be leading the World Championship by 3 points over Ishibashi and by 13 over Kenosha. That's huge. That is a massive swing, and for Rogers, that puts him within 6 of Kenosha and within 20 of the World Championship lead. Watching with Kovalkiewicz, who's losing touch there with Valdez. See, Ishibashi finally got around Kenosha, but not without holding Ishibashi up a lot. Ishibashi lost 5 seconds. Rogers clear of Lechty at the moment. But there's Valdez in the mix as well. Because they're also coming up on Kenosha here. Kurachenko had to make another stop. There's Kurachenko now in the 28th position. Not a good place to be for Kurachenko, who still needs another stop to get to the end of the race. Oh, here we go. This is going to be big. Into the bus stop. This is going to be tight. Lechty going after the position, and now we got to fight for second, third, and fourth. Lecty going for second. Once again, trying to take that position back. And she gets it, and there goes Valdez. Valdez to the podium. Cutting Rogers out of the equation, getting Valdez on the podium. That's huge. Rogers getting cut off at the pass. And we'll go from second to fifth with lap traffic. Ishibashi playing the team game and getting her teammate Valdez on the podium. That puts two of the Cat Nova racing cars on the podium. Kenosha still doing her part in that equation with 16 laps to go. They will eventually get around Kenosha, but not before they lose touch with Valdez and with Lecty. Talk about insurance policy. Still a team game at the end of the day. Porter in 7th, and it's Keto in 8th. Simona Leroux in 9th. Draco with Kurichenko's pit stop has moved into the top 10 once again. Battling with Glover and with Jackson. .15 laps to go. Draco in that fight for 10th at the moment. There's Vulisovich getting around Kenosha. A lot less of a fuss that time. Vulisovich just using the straightaway into the inner loop to make that pass happen. Valdez going to pressure Lecty. Ishibashi leads by 11.5 seconds at the moment over Lecty, over Valdez. Top 3 of all lap though so far today. Lecty the most recent leader. That is not Ishibashi. Ishibashi's led 43 of the first 46 laps. Made that 44 of 47. They run up the hill here. Again, the Grand Slam's broken because of Valdez and Lecty leading a lap here. But for them, that's also a bonus point. And for Lecty, every point counts right now. For Valdez, not so much. But for Lecty, every point counts. 100% every point counts right now. entering this conversation, entering today, it was Kenosha leading by 17 points. That's changed now in favor of Lechty, who's got back to second place. Ishibashi was third with minus 39 points. Ishibashi moves up the spot here with how things are looking at the moment. Rogers in fourth. Rogers right now stays fourth, but the gap closes significantly. Vilisevic fifth, who gains points as well. Vilisevic was 52 points out looking into the day. Gains a decent amount here, especially on Kenosha. Kozlov currently in 30th out of this race. Kovalkiewicz out of this race as well. Engine failure for the Alpine. Kovalkiewicz out. Promotes Glover to the top 10. That's a huge move. That's a huge swing. So Kovalkiewicz, all the work that she had done to gain points, really unravels here. Porter was 8th in points, 127 points off of the championship lead. Porter right now sitting in the top 6. Gonna gain a little bit on that. Glover in 9th, Michelin top 10. But Michelin right now sitting in the 19th position, so that's going to change pretty well. Petrovic in pit lane. Petrovic was 20th in points entering the night. Top 20 in points behind Michelin, you've got Kurachenko 11th, Leroux in 12th, Keisha Fox 13th, Crane 14th, Alexander 15th, Wyatt Jones after his podium last week up to 16th. Cameron Jackson, Esther Hobson, and Sadakito and Petrovic there at the top 20 in the points. Obviously entering today, that's going to change dramatically. As Valdez and Lechty still duke it out. Rogers now on his own. Vilisevic to the top 5. There's Porter in 6th. And you've got Quito and Leroux getting around Kenosha there. And for Kenosha, it doesn't mean a lot, because obviously for Kenosha, she needs a lot more people to fall out of this race. But that's sort of why she's keeping going at the moment, with people dropping out like Kovalkiewicz. She just needs a lot more attrition in the last 12 laps of this race. There's Wyatt Jones, who moves one step closer to the top 10, and 13th now. There's Keisha Fox alongside Cameron Jackson. One more pit stop to make. Could still happen, could still work. But this is the battle in the top 10 and outside of it. Wyatt Jones close to that conversation. So is Elise Alexander. Further away is Kamaya, Crane. Then you have Ochoa. And then Esther Hobson. So perusing car in pit lane. That is Valdez in pit lane early. Undercut. That's huge. Undercut now for Valdez. The full gauntlet for Valdez. To rely on the overcut to get in position. Now relying on the undercut. It's the pit window fully open. Valdez, the first of the top 5 to come down pit lane. You'd have to imagine that Lecty would have to try to cover that off. Ishibashi is in. It's a coordinated move there by the team for Cat Devil Racing. Lecty stays out. Lecty stays out. Rogers comes down pit lane. Does Velisovich come down pit lane or not? Velisovich in. There's Quito and Leroux. And they both come down pit lane. This is massive, the way this fight's turned out. This group stayed out as well. Very interesting how this has all really devolved. And no, that's very important. Kenosha cannot do what happened last time and hold up Ishibashi like she did. That could be disastrous. Because Ishibashi's on cold tires. She struggled to get those tires fired up behind Kenosha last time. And she's behind Kenosha again. Ishibashi's going to get through here easily this time. Making it easy. As Lecty comes down pit lane, this time will lead another lap. It'll be her second. Interesting enough, Wyatt Jones got around Keisha Fox in this fight. This is the fight on the fringe of the top 10 as things currently run. This is for the final pit stop run of the day. Jackson and Draco. Wow! Draco made it in. That was close. Wyatt Jones, as you saw there, stayed out. That's massive. Lecty gonna lose a spot. There's Valdez going through. That overcut did not work. But Lecty stays ahead of Thomas Rogers. There's Velisovich there. There's Lucero. There's Porter. Lucero has not pit either. The 88, that Motorola machine ahead of Porter at the moment. Going to frustrate the Slovenian driver for Atomic Autosport. So a couple drivers still going long on this pit cycle. Kurachenko in pit lane for the last time. There's Riley leaving pit lane. Kunikita leaving pit lane. There's Ishii. But there's your race leader, Sakura Ishibashi, with less than 10 laps to go. Kenosha and Jones is in. We'll have to see where Jones cycles out. There is BK Glover, who was ahead of him entering pit lane. Then you have Draco, then you have Jackson. But they're way more spread out than they were. So if Jones can make something happen here, he's still getting tires changed though. He's gonna fall behind all three of these drivers here. That's a long and slow pit exit. Chero in pit lane. There's Wyatt Jones though. He's gonna potentially slot himself in between the two. No, misses out just right there, but stays ahead of Alexander and Keisha Fox, importantly. So Jones close to the top 10, but not close enough. Draco gets around Kenosha. As the fight wears on. Shank's gonna make a move into the bus, into the boot here, and get through. But again, Kenosha struggling to put the power down, struggles a lot to make magic happen here. And Wyatt Jones will breeze by quickly into the braking zone here. How dejected can this day be for Kenosha? 2 laps down in a wounded car. It's absolutely heartbreaking. See everyone cycles through here. Right now, looks like Wyatt Jones will be in 11th, I do believe. Wyatt Jones in 12th. My apologies. There's Porter, Quito, and Leroux in the same stretch of real estate here. And Leckie trying to hold on to 3rd on the track here. Try to defend from Rogers here. 6 laps to go. Ishibashi leads by 11.5 over Valdez. And Valdez has walked away with this one as well, sitting in 2nd place and has gotten clear. Teamwork made the dream work there for Cat Double Racing. They will, as things sit, get a 1-2 out of this. Leckie battling for 3rd, Valdez all the way up the road here in 2nd, Ishibashi leading the way. Felicevich a very islandish 5th. Then you have Porter trying to stay ahead of Quito and Leroux. Both of them having pretty decent races so far as things run. BK Glover in 9th, looking for another top 10 finish, but finishing 6th a week ago. Draco looking for another top 10, if he can grab one. Checo in the 10th position, clearing away from Jackson. And then there's Wyatt Jones in 12th ahead of Alexander and Keisha Fox. And you see the bottom end of the table, this fight's still going on. There's Crane still trying to hold on in front of Ochoa. Approaching turn 1 here, and then there's Michelin, who's struggling still. Interesting seeing how some of these drivers are still struggling here. Michelin, one of those drivers, struggling still mightily. Hoffman having a bad day. Obviously, Kurachenko's day went from good to bad in a hurry. Having to make an extra pit stop, threw her all the way down into the 27th position. But there's Petrovic. Petrovic in trouble as well. Because Petrovic just went a lap down. So Petrovic struggling here. There's Valdez. And then there's the battle for 3rd place still. Four laps to go. Looking at this battle, there's Lecty and Rogers bound for the 3rd position here. The top 2 pretty well settled in. I just want to see if any of these battles close up here with 3 laps to go. Kind of just browsing and perusing through the field here. With 3 laps to go. This is still the closest battle going on track at the moment. And the pressure's on Lecty. Rogers with a decent run here, going for 3rd. Not close enough that time, but he was really winding up through the last sector there. Because time is running out. 2 laps to go. Rogers going for that third spot, really wants that third position. And the thing is that as this sits, Letty needs to stay in this position. Otherwise, her potential championship lead is under threat because it could go to Ishibashi. You gotta be careful. In this battle for the last spot on the podium, Sakura Ishibashi leads by 13.4 seconds. She's gonna come and take the white flag this time. 1 lap to go for the race leader. There's second place, Mia Valdez, and then there's third and fourth right here on your screen. One lap to go. Last time up the S's. One last trip around the bus stop. Rogers really closed in there on Lucky. Couple corners to go here in this fight. I don't think Rogers has got enough. He's going to have to really wind up these last couple corners. Sakura Ishibashi will take the checkered flag to win here at Watkins Glen. Third race win of the season. Rogers, can he wind it up here? I think he's lost a little bit too much trying to wind it up. Valdez takes second. Nicole Letty holds on to take third. Nicole Letty, your new points leader by 14 points over Kenosha, who drops to third. Sakura Ishibashi, with her race win, moves to second, just 4 points adrift of Nicole Letty. The championship conversation has pivoted on its head here at Watkins Glen. There's Thomas Rogers, who finished in 4th. Natalia Vulisevich in 5th. 6th is Evangeline Porter. 7th is Asada Quito. 8th, Simona Leroux. 9th, BK Glover. 10th, Andrew Draco. Cameron Jackson finished 11th ahead of Wyatt Jones. Elise Alexander in 13th. Ahead of Keisha Fox, while Shinichi Kamaya round up the top half of the field. Asher Crane in the 16th position, then Katrina Ochoa 17th. 18th is Mateus Michelin. 19th, Maria Damata. Top 20, Esther Hobson ahead of Rex Riley. But then you have Bianca Lucero, Sakura Kunikita, and Anastasius von Sonnen. There's Kuni Kenosha, who finished in 28th, 2 laps down. Petrus finished 1 lap down. Yuya Ishii finished 25th ahead of Natalia Kurachenko. And Marcus Petrus, as I mentioned, 27th, 1 lap down as the race leader enters Parc Fermé. Sakura Ishibashi, a winner here in Watkins Glen. You see everyone drive by the camera. See all those cars coming down Park Ferme. A lot of cars still rolling around this large and spacious racetrack here. We still have racing to do, 4 races to go as the championship flips upside down. Next Saturday night, we head just down the road to Nazareth Speedway for a race at that track. Legendary facility, it's been revived. We get to race under the lights at Nazareth in 6 days' time. Again, Nicole Lecty, the championship leader, now leaving New York by a mere 4 points over Sakura Ishibashi. Kuna Kinoshita, after another abysmal race, now down 14 points behind Lecty with 4 races to go. The championship has closed up significantly and has changed hands here with 4 to go. On behalf of everyone here for ABN Sports and the AT&T Champ Car World Series, we appreciate you tuning in today. Tune back in on Saturday night in Nazareth for more racing here for the IndyCar World Championship. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, have some fun in the week ahead. We'll see you in Nazareth.